you know, are gonna watch it. I'm gonna post it on YouTube. I'm gonna put it on Twitter. I'm gonna put plaster this sucker everywhere I can. And the reason why is because it's just the worst example of berries. This is what happened. We had all this pretty much. We had we had those bases up there, and when I started this game, I tried to get us to cutting off TR early on with Cerro Reservoir Post. What happened was that VS came in and they took these bases. I had actually resourced out the bases. I had put them with full resources, which was really stupid of me. But I was just kind of like, hey, you know, you have all the resources, do what you want, and it's the wrong people. It's the wrong faction people. Total dimwits. Our faction this morning was no spawns whatsoever at Matherson's. They were basically fighting at Rhyme from a Sunday or maybe a set of Sundays. And of course, you know, berries, they always auto spawn, so they were auto spawning on the nearby Sunday, never looking at the map to see that they were completely cut off. And so they were maintaining a base that we're cut off from, okay? And so Matherson's, we had guys over here trying to take Matherson's, and those guys weren't even deploying their Sundays. I was given all sorts of tips, like I was saying, if you like ants with cloakers, there's bunches of Corsum crystals on this end and that end of Reservoir, and nobody's reading. Nobody's reading anything. They must be ignoring me completely. I don't know. They're just berries. You know, they don't pay attention to anything. They just auto spawn and they think it's Call of Duty. You know, it's just the worst example of what can happen when there's like no pros online, and the outfits are stupid. They're just the stupidest players you've got in your outfit. That's what happened here. And I had my Sunday in a strategic location, such that people could spawn on and get to the cars, the tanks faster. What happened? Rhyme got taken. And because they got all the Sundays there and there was no Sundays deployed at Matherson's, the entire faction spawned on my Sunday, and because they're berries, they instantly assume that the Sunday that they're spawning on is at a base that needs to be taken. So they're going around looking for the flag. Then they find out that it's our base and that the Sunday is not at a base to take. Then they realize, oh, they must get it must be for the tank terminal. They don't expect people to do this kind of thing, this nice gesture of to try to prevent you from going all the way across the stupid base just to get to the tank terminal, because the spawn is way over on the other side. So I was trying to make it faster so they could get there in their cars and go out, but they just kind of wandered around for about like a half a minute or a minute, and then they finally got into the cars and went, okay? But they are not, as berries do with Sundays, they don't deploy them anywhere, and usually it's going to be something like a repair Sunday, or it's going to be an ammo Sunday, or it's going to be a Sunday that don't have any augment on it. It's not going to be a deployment shield Sunday, I can guarantee you that. They're just completely clueless. So this is an example. This should be like a good video, a poster example of just how stupid the NC faction can be. But this is going to be true for all the factions. It's just that I got the perfect storm. A pro players on the other side, those guys were pro. The VS's guys, they just went full throttle. They knew exactly what to do. They were AT&T guys. They went right for Matherson's, and I didn't even see that. I was like, oh, Matherson's is the choke base. If they get Matherson's, then we lose all of our land. And I was like, oh shit. And I was trying to tell people in faction chat, nobody was responding. I was like, oh shit, we're going to lose Matherson's, we're going to lose Matherson's. Matherson's went, and VS absorbed the ESA tech plant, and TR and Reservoir was kind of in tandem. You know, we were taking it because we had Rhyme. VS was taking it. There was a guy over there that was VS, had a cloak ant, and could have, if we had people spawning there, he would have taken advantage of that because there's huge Corsham mines over there. He could be extracting and then going running over people as a cloaker, a cloak ant, which is what I would do with a cloak ant, is go and run over people because they don't expect it, and because everybody on today are berries. That's what I would be doing on VS. I'd be like running over people because they're total berries. They're just total dumbasses, and that's what a berry is. It's like, I wouldn't say dumbass. I'd say they're unfamiliar with the game, and so because of their unfamiliarity, they don't know what can be done to them in the game. They don't know how they can be they don't understand the vulnerability, the position they're in, and so I was just like, please help. And they were like, no, I have no clue. Somebody said, what happened at Traverse? And I was like, read my messages in faction chat. So let's go look at faction chat. Now, they may have replied to it. I'm going to go and spawn at Warpgate. I guess, I don't know, let me see. I'll look at faction. Damn, only 7%. Yeah, because you guys are dumbasses. Look, and so I said, wow, okay, let me see. So, as it starts there, if you can read that, Sunday near Cerro, near vehicle spawn, pop out Sundays, take Cerro. Fix, and then they say, good, and they said, I maxed discounts, resources on all frontline bases, everything. I think I ran out of resources. I run some expedition to get more. VS is focusing on Mathersons. We need attention here. Tech is harder to take Mathersons. It's going to fast and closer to warp gating us. We lose, and then I was like, I went and looked at the map and said, oh crap, we lose Mathersons, we lose everything. And then I said, we're fucked. We're fucked. And we have to get to Mathersons back while we can. TR and VS are absorbing other bases. We can't spawn there. But people were still spawning on Sundays at Rhyme, and I said, I wasn't even thinking about this. I'm going to pull some AT&T moves, and that was, I was going to try to spawn some Sundays at some bases, try to get people to take like Mathersons or something. And then, I mean, if I was really aware of the situation, I probably would have moved my Sunday up to Mathersons. But I was expecting people were a little more pro, and they weren't. So, man, they screwed us. Shrunk. Well, what happened to the map opened up, and then it shrunk again. So when it opened up, we were like, oh, wow, we're not screwed. We can go take bases. Then it shrunk, and I was like, oh, shit. It went back to normal, and I was like, that just ruined us again, you know, because then we had the chance of, like, actually, but then it shrunk. So the guys at AG7 need to realize, don't do that shit. Don't let that shit happen. If it opens up, leave it open for an hour, because it's your own fucking fault that you're doing it. It's not our fucking fault, okay? And if you use the ants like the run over people as a cloaked, there is a huge Corsham crystal on the left side of Reservoir. So I was giving a tip. I was letting everybody know there's a Corsham crystal on the left. There are two huge Corsham crystals, like 60,000s, on the left side of Reservoir, and then there was another one on the northeast side of Reservoir. 3 Corsham, you know, take that into account, because the map always has this. It's the crystals are always in the same place, and I guess the next time it'll be just like that. Cloaker ants love to run over like large cloaked flashes. They like to run over people. It's so much fun, because they don't see it coming, and the ants are so huge, you can run over huge armies of people that are zerging. That's how you fix zerging. If you ever see zerging TR or VS or whoever, if they're zerging base to base, it's like the light bulb in your head has to go off. Cloak ant, and you go and you mine some core, then you just go and run them over. You run them, all those people over, and they're just dead, and you get all that XP from just running people over. And it says, oh, you guys must be using logistics and implant in your Sundays at Matherson's. Of course, this is not what was going on. They were complete berries, and they put their Sundays inside the base, and the base doesn't permit them to deploy their Sundays. They should have done it on the outside, but they just left their Sundays there. I don't know what they were doing. I can't move my Sunday to Matherson's because I'm using it to make taint term more accessible. And I was doing it. That's kind of a smart pro move there, is to try to make it so that people can get to taint term faster. All I want is all for the one of a nail is disconnected. Rhyme was disconnected. People were focusing. I hope cert farm at Rhyme was nice. It looks like you lost it. so all that work, complete loss. We're going to cert farming at Matherson's for the rest of the game, I bet. The reason the entire faction spawned on my Sunday is you guys lost all your Sundays at Rhyme, and mine was the only deployed Sunday. It's so much fun. This is so hilarious. You know what is going to be even worse? They will warp gate us. We weren't prepared. Bummer. Guys, they were capping this base. We can't cap it. So they were capping at Traverse while we were at Traverse, and people were heading off to Matherson's to take Matherson's, but you can't take Matherson's if they're back capping you. Total berries. We're getting obliterated, but other than that, good. I don't know why I said good. I was just like, yeah, it was just good. Something to learn from. Shit. And there we go. TR wins. But at least it wasn't VS. God. Awful. Awful, man. Just awful. Just totally awful. And I did my best, but my best wasn't enough. Sorry. And so I'm going to cut that. I'm going to probably, if I can, post this in War Pigs and all the other factions areas, just to let them, I mean, all the other outfits, or the outfits I have access to, just to let them know that this is the worst I've ever seen this faction do. It is the worst. Oh my goodness. Oh.